gain another yard. You blitz all night. If they cross the line of scrimmage, I'm going to take every last one of you out.
The New Hampshire High School Football Show is brought to you by the New Hampshire State Liquor Commission's Division of Enforcement.
You got heart, charisma, and a lot of skill.
And now, here are your hosts, Pete Terrier and Dave Haley from NHSportsPage.com.
Clear eyes, full hearts. Let's go play some football.
Feels like Championship Saturday on the New Hampshire High School Football Show. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to our Championship Saturday edition of the program. We got 3 state championships going around the state, 3 different divisions, 6 teams all trying to attain the goal that they set at the beginning of the season. Pete Terrier, along with Dave Haley. Dave, these days are just really, really special, and for more than just because it is Championship Saturday and you're going to see celebrations and trophies on the field. I think it's a culmination of a great season.
Yeah,
I know we got the Turkey Bowl coming up on Thursday, and me and you will be at Gill Stadium broadcasting the game, Central and Trinity, on News Radio 610. But I always get that kind of empty feeling after the games are over, like, man, season's over.
Yeah.
It flew by. It really did.
I get excited for basketball, but yeah, I do. It's tremendous. I was doing wind sprints on the lawn today. Did a couple of pull-ups and down in the basement. I'm ready to roll. I like. I always worry about. I'm not worried, but the weather. I want to make sure these kids have the best environment to play in, and it's going to be a little cool today. But the great John Kesty was saying in the parking lot. I mean, beautiful sunny day. I can't wait. I know you're excited about your game, and you should be. I can't wait to be up in Plymouth today. And as I've been saying for weeks, and I have one of my best friends from college went to Plymouth High School, and if you graduated from Plymouth and you live in New Hampshire and you played for Chuck Lanahan, you've got to be there today, right? His last game.
It's going to be huge. And I almost feel bad for Portsmouth because they're an afterthought in this game. And we'll break down all the games as we go along. And, oh, by the way, Chuck Lanahan's going to join us on the radio in about a half hour from now. So 8:35 this morning. Want to make sure you're around for that. Not that he's going to say anything. Because
I got a few questions. We'll try. Last time I talked to him, he was bestowing he was talking about the very tough Kingswood Knights that they were going to be playing at preseason, and he didn't know if they were going to be able to, hang with Kingswood. So,
well, we'll talk with him, and we'll talk about each of these 3 championship games. Why don't we run down the itinerary today, the lineup on who's playing where as part of our lineup. Not the scoreboard, brought to you by our friends at New Hampshire State Liquor Commission, the Division of Enforcement, and that Buyers Beware campaign, reminding all adults, if your team wins the championship, even if Chuck Lanahan picks up his 20th career state championship on his going away party today, don't say, hey, everybody, let's go to the Legion Hall over at Plymouth or the Flying Monkey and a round of drinks for the house. You just can't do it. It's against the law.
Hong Kong Gardens. They got some nice karaoke at the Hong Kong Gardens. My sister went to Plymouth State.
Mai Tai, actually?
Yeah. Plymouth, well, we'll go Division 1 first. So 3 games today, obviously, and here's the coverage we're going to provide. Jen Chick and Pete Terrier will have our NHSportsPage.com cameras out today. Pinkerton takes on Concord at Memorial Field. Concord, the only undefeated team, trying to close out that undefeated team. They're playing against the Pinkerton Astros, who I think we'll talk about them, but I believe we all overlooked a little bit. And Brian O'Reilly calmly explaining why they had confidence. I sat there going, wow, why didn't I figure that out for myself? But the second game would be a game that I'll be doing on WTSN 1270 AM with Justin McIsaac, and that will be online. You can listen to TuneIn Radio as well. We'll have the cameras. The great John Kesty will be out of Plymouth. The great John Kesty is going to miss some of Logan Kesty's Plymouth State game for us today. So really,
bravo, John.
Bravo, great John Kesty, because we appreciate it. He's probably missed 3 of Logan's games in his lifetime, so we appreciate it. But we're going to be out of Plymouth today, like I said. I'm hoping to grab Kevin Gray. I'm going to call him on the way up, my buddy from WGIR.
He'll be there for sure, He'll
definitely be there, and I hope he's not too busy to come on and maybe talk at some point during the game or anything he wants. I'd love to talk to him. But that's going to be a huge one. Portsmouth at Plymouth today. We'll talk about all these games, and of course have Chuck Lenahan on at 8:35, and then the Division III championship game, which is a funny kind of game. Stevens at Bow, two really, really good teams, two very good coaches. Paul Silva is a friend of ours at Stevens. Paul Cohen does a great job at Bow. People sort of forget because Bow is the favorite today, the home team. Stevens was a Division V team last year, and Bow was a Division VI team last year. So I think people sort of forget that Stevens played in a tougher division these last few years. There's some history between these two teams, and they've always been battles.
They played earlier this year.
They played earlier this year. It was a very good game that Bow won, and I expect another really, really good one today. We'll get into each of these, but obviously I previewed all three of these games on nhsportspage.com by talking to two coaches in each division. They opened up their scouting report on the teams, and those are always fun read, even for me.
I like how you do that because they're anonymous.
Yeah.
And they give you really what they think.
Yeah.
You know, when you put a coach's name to it, they're not going to give you that type of insight. You know, those type of observations. The truth. I mean, and I'm not saying these coaches are disingenuous out there,
but they've got to play the game.
No one is going to go out there saying, well, you know what, this is an area where you can exploit this team. They're not going to do it when they're putting their name to it. So I like how you do that.
Yeah.
Bravo to you.
Thank you. We do that for the semifinals for all the basketball Final Fours too. But it was a lot of fun. I really appreciate the coaches who I won't name, but who contributed to that. But
I always try to guess who the coaches are.
Yeah.
That you utilize.
Well, the funny thing is that one coach I spoke to, a couple of them said, "Well, who's the other guy?" You know, so. But so we got a lot of good information out of that.
All right, well, let's talk. I want to start with the Plymouth Portsmouth game because to me that's you said everybody's going to be there. I want to be there. All right, but I'm going to be in Concord and for the Pinkerton Concord game in Division I. Not that I don't want to see that game, but I really think that Portsmouth Plymouth game is all about Chuck Lenahan today. Is the Portsmouth side, are they kind of using that, saying, hey, you know what, you guys aren't, I mentioned it earlier, you're an afterthought in this game. It's all about the coach and his last game. Let's circle the wagon, so to speak, rally the troops, and let's go in there and ruin the party.
Yeah.
We did it earlier this year. We can do it again because no one is even talking about you guys as part of this game.
Well, two things. Yeah, absolutely. And Portsmouth's used to doing that. They're very good they have a history, that coaching staff, of going in and beating very good teams on the road. They've done it at Hollis Brookline in the past. They've done it at Bedford in the past. They've won at Sauhegan in the past when they've had to, and so forth and so on. And the other thing is that Coach Lenahan and that staff, I'm sure, have insulated that team to all of it and just been like, it's not even brought up and it's not mentioned. And I'm positive that those kids are just solely focused on Portsmouth. They lost to Portsmouth, so I mean, there's going to be a huge crowd around them. They'll feed off it, but I don't think it will distract them at all. But I mean,
but it also means something to them as well.
Oh yeah, they're going to be playing. If you played sports or if you were in a fraternity or whatever, you've got like your alumni and they come back and they're going to have Plymouth. You might have the guys are thin enough. They'll have their varsity jacket on today, having fun with that. I mean,
even some who are bursting out at the
yeah,
seams
exactly, yeah.
Sort of like the general down in Nashua, my buddy Keith Gardner, class of 1985. Still wears that 1985 purple Nashua High Letterman's jacket. And I still see him wearing that.
Yeah, no one's working harder than those buttons. And it's like,
well, the general hasn't gained too much weight over the years.
I don't know. But, it's going to be, but they're just going to have to just focus on Portsmouth. But, everyone says, and it was in the preview, everyone seems to feel this is the toughest matchup for Plymouth because Portsmouth's going to spread them out, and they've got their speed, and they're what I kept hearing over and over again was their wide receivers on the outside, Nate McFarland, Ian McDonald, are bigger. Jack Young, another one. They're bigger than the Plymouth secondary, who's good. Like Colin Sullivan's very good. But he's not that tall, and those guys can kind of leap over him. One thing I saw, I want to talk about last week's game, too. I want to get into all that. But one thing I saw last week was Donovan Fenora had a pass where he had Ian McDonald against, I think it was Brad Rhodes. So a shorter Trinity secondary guy in the secondary, and he overthrew him by a yard. And I remember saying on the telecast, I said, on the broadcast we did, I said, just throw it up there, let him. I'm sorry, here goes Notre Dame. But Notre Dame last year with Tyler Eifert, they used to just lob the ball in the corner and let him go up and get it. Or, do that with A.J. Green or Calvin Johnson. You don't got to overthrow a guy. When you've got a wide receiver who's bigger, just lob it up there and let him jump ball it and go get it. And,
you mean what Brady should have done with Gronkowski?
Yeah, exactly.
In the end zone there.
That's a good example.
That final play.
And that's why Gronkowski, it's a good example. But that's something they've got to do today. But it's little things like that. Instead of that, he overthrew the guy. And you don't need to beat a shorter guy in stride. You just throw the ball up there, let your wide receiver make a play.
Well, McFarland is very good. McDonald is a kid I don't think a lot of people talk about, but man, that kid makes highlight catches.
Once Becker was suspended, then he became really more focused.
He stood out to me in that first game of the season against Trinity. He was making plays all over the field. They got that other kid, Loden Formicelli, an all-name teamer.
Yeah, a young kid. He's good.
Who can play as well. So, look, I give Portsmouth a chance. I know Mikey Torr's a little bit banged up. He's just fun to watch. I mean, I was reading an article on Seacoast Online this week, and they were talking about some of the nicknames, the wrecking ball and something else for Mikey Torr. They didn't use the bus. I mean, when I look at him, I think of Jerome Bettis.
Yeah.
I think of the bus. So, I don't know that he's going to be a big part of that game plan today because you just can't run into the teeth of the Plymouth defense.
He had a run in that game. And again, I did the game on the radio like I will today. He had a run in that game where he met Carmen Gianpetruzzi like one-on-one right there. And Carmen, kind of got him down after a little while, but I made the comment that Carmen saw his all-state basketball season flash right before his eyes. That kid's running right at you, and he just goes, and he gets beat on pretty good, and he keeps going. He'll limp off the field, and then he limps right back on again, and he moves. It's going to be a very good game. I thought Portsmouth was very mentally tough because Trinity led that whole game, and they just made the plays at the end. They got a big fumble recovery. And it was one play there that changed the scope of that game. There was a 4th and 10 late. Trinity was driving. They were, I believe, the 40. 4th and 10, Carmen Gianpetruzzi hit Brad Rhodes over the middle. They tackled him immediately as he caught the ball. It was a 9-yard gain. So one more yard, and they got first and 10 at, I believe, like the 27-yard line. And I talked to Big Carmen, Carmen's dad, this week, and he brought that up. He's like, it's 1 yard, you know what I mean? And
you got to know where the sticks are.
Yeah, he was right there. Well, he didn't know he was going to get hit, and
Well, it sets up for a great game in Plymouth today. I'm kind of jealous that you get to go up there. I would certainly like to go there. I did talk to Coach Lenahan a little bit yesterday. He's excited about it, downplaying it, of course.
Of course.
So we'll talk to him in about 15 minutes from now. Let's take a timeout. We'll come back. I want to get into the Division I game. Concord at Pinkerton, a rematch of a game that we had covered on nhsportspage.com with the video highlights earlier this year. 21-14 overtime. Big rally at the end by Concord. Length of the field drive. Great over-the-top pass, 50-yard play that set them up for the score. But they still needed 2 to just send it to overtime, and then Concord controlled them in the OT. We'll talk some Division I championship game when we return to the New Hampshire High School Football Show right here, News Radio 610 and 96.7.
From Manchester West to Winnicott, Central to Somersworth, and Portsmouth to Plymouth, the New Hampshire High School Football Show brings you the best coverage in the state on News Radio 610 and 96.7.
Were you listening to that last sweeper there, Portsmouth to Plymouth? I mean, I did that. I wrote that like 3 years ago, and now all of a sudden it comes to fruition as they go for a championship today, Portsmouth and Plymouth.
Couple hours.
In D2, you got Bo and Stevens in D3 in the game that I will be at with the nhsportspage.com video camera. Jen Chick going to be in the house with us. It's Concord and Pinkerton. The 2 best teams in Division I.
Yeah.
I mean, all due respect to Keene and Nashua South and Bedford, who didn't even make the playoffs. These are the 2 best teams in the league.
Yeah, and so
in the state, I think, too.
You and I usually catch up on Sunday nights if we can, and just kind of what we saw and what we felt, and you made an interesting comment to me, and listening. I watched the entire video up there because I was in Portsmouth obviously, and getting the tweets and going, wow, this thing's getting out of hand real quick.
Oh, Pinkerton Keene you're talking about?
And so I remember you said to me on the phone something to the effect, I'll let you clean it up, but something to the effect of, as soon as you saw the offensive and defensive lines of both teams, you said, there's no way Keene's gonna. I mean, Pinkerton's just huge.
One thing that stuck out with me, and I read it in your preview for D1 about how surprised I was when I saw how big Matt Madden really was.
Yeah.
All right. And I noticed this first and foremost when they went to the center of the field, the captains go out at the center for the coin toss, and Parento, one of the captains, along with Jimmy Heaney for Keene. And then for Pinkerton, it was Madden and Manny Lattimore. And Parento is just a man-child. He is a beast. All right. And Madden was just a little bit taller than Parento, and just as big, body-wise. He is a horse.
Yeah.
So, that impressed me and surprised me. And then you just look at the rest of that Pinkerton line. I mean, this kid that I had on the video after the game, Hayden Sturdivant, number 72.
The big kid.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, he's huge.
Sophomore. And then they got this kid, Phil Harper, who is, a senior, and he's 321 pounds. They got a bunch of other big guys. I mean, they're just huge. And they open up big holes. O'Reilly knows how to coach them up, knows how to put them in the right position, set up the right formations, counter plays with speed by Urbanik, and everybody's keying on Manny Lattimore, and he's got Madden who can bust you up the middle with power football. And when they want to throw it, you're so focused on stopping the run, play action pass, or a bootleg play with the quarterback hand away. They're just real tough to contend with. That being said, I still pick Concord to win this game because I think Concord is they're just solid at a bunch of different positions across the board. They've got so many different guys that can hurt you. I mean, Sude, the outstanding sophomore running back, number 8, Leo, he didn't even play against Pinkerton in that game, and Concord won. And he missed a bunch of games this season because he was, sat down for whatever reason, disciplinary reasons, I guess. Wally Indy, really, really tough runner, power runner. He's got speed. The quarterback, Robbie Law, can run it himself. Gaudette, forget about him. He can catch the ball. He can, run the ball.
What's Jacob?
Jacob Zoltz.
Yeah.
All right. A kid that, Samo Smith is the best receiver in the state a lot of people talk about. Well, they got another kid, Jacob Zoltz, number 2, who has played just as good this year. A tight end, this Best Chelik kid that can catch the ball. Tim Como, another receiver. They're just loaded, and I think they got a real underrated offensive and defensive line, good linebackers. Logan Lamoureux, Dylan Naylor, Wyatt LeBombard.
Their defense is completely underrated because their offense is so good. That's all listen, that's what you do. You notice, the big plays. That's what SportsCenter is all about, and so forth and so on. But their defense has been terrific, and what coaches said this week was that they're very disciplined. They don't overrun the play, and they fly to the football and they wrap people up. And there's a lot. You heard it early in the season, and you heard it in Jen Chick's fantastic preview that she has. It's a 2-minute video on our website. You've got to go check it out. It's only 2 minutes, and it's tremendous. It beats anything you're going to see on television anywhere else on these two teams. But they want to do this for Concord. Concord's been down, as you said. It's like
biggest game since the Bonner days.
Yeah, I mean, they had Matt Bonner, and then Luke Bonner left and went to Trinity. And so that kind of like what happened is Concord basketball has just not been back ever since. And the football team has followed suit. They haven't been there in a long time. And they're always sort of the forgotten team, and they always had promise, but then they would go to Central the second week of the season and lose. I think years back, 42-7. I remember Jared Chandler playing quarterback for Central and killing them one time. Game we had video of it. And so, this is something they're doing for the whole city of Concord, and you got your Nashua and your Manchester and Portsmouth, the Seacoast teams. Concord is. We've been saying for years on this show, it'd be great to have Concord back in it again. In basketball, too. And this is a big, big, big day in that city for this. This is a huge game.
There's going to be a lot of traffic on 93 today.
I mean, it's a big game.
Going into Concord from Derry and then going up to Plymouth. And I think a lot of football fans, people that follow the sport throughout the year, maybe they play, they're part of teams from across all the divisions, they're going to go to this game. And we talk a lot about, hey, wouldn't it be great to have all these games going on at one location today? You know, a neutral site, St. A's or UNH or wherever. This is one case where I'm kind of glad that's not happening, because then you wouldn't have the Lenahan situation at Zulius Field in Plymouth.
That's
in
true.
the land of Lenahan. If it was like that, it wouldn't be the same.
Yeah, I've never had a problem with I've never been a huge. I don't think the neutral field thing is something you want to. There are a million other things to fight for. This isn't one of them. But I think Pinkerton has been a little bit overlooked, and they lost 2 very close games. And Brian O'Reilly very calmly explained it. When he talked to you after the game, he's like, we lost an double overtime game, and then we lost at Bedford early in the season by one play there. And they've dominated most other times, and I feel like they blew Keene out of the water. And what was the crowd like at Keene? I know we're going to go to break soon, but
It was pretty good. I mean, it's such a long ride for Pinkerton people. It's probably, not a lot of students making the trip over there.
Yeah.
Although, what better way to spend an afternoon with a road trip, with your high school friends, driving out to Keene on a beautiful Saturday afternoon during the fall.
to a college town.
Yeah, exactly.
What was a Keene? The home
Keene
team?
crowd was good. Unfortunately, they were down big early in the second half, so a lot of them, took off and said, I think I'm going to spend my beautiful fall Sunday afternoon or Saturday afternoon someplace else.
Yeah.
But it was a pretty good crowd. But I expect a huge crowd in Concord today. I'm very much looking forward to that. Obviously, there's going to be a big crowd in Bow. There's going to be a great crowd in Plymouth, like we talked about. So why don't we take a time out, and we'll come back. You got one thing to say?
One thing, yeah. Bo, I made a mistake. Bo was in Division 5 last year, I just remembered. So, and Justin McIsaac pointed that out. So I said they were in Division 6. They were in Division 5, that's all.
I kind of heard you say that, and I was like, that sounded kind of. Where was Campbell last year? Weren't they in Division 6 last year?
Yeah, no, I don't know.
Or were they in Division 5?
I think they weren't. Yeah, they were in Division 6 last year. But I didn't want Tony Reale to come on at the end of the show and tell me I made a mistake. So I'll correct myself before we get there.
Not Anthony Reale from Bishop Girton.
No,
the guy from ESPN.
He can correct me too if he wants to.
Yeah.
Sure.
While we have a little time here, we got a great event coming up in a couple of weeks, and we haven't really spent a lot of time talking about it on this radio show. You've got the poster. Do you have it on you here?
Yeah, I got it right here.
And it is called Coaches for a Cause. It is a preseason basketball tournament being put on by nhsportspage.com and the Alvern Boys Basketball Program. And this is an idea that we've been talking about for a while. You got the Queen City Jamboree in New Hampshire high school football to really kick off the season. And we've been talking about something for basketball. And believe it or not, after the championship games today, Monday, the tryouts begin.
Yeah, they do.
Around the state of New Hampshire. Then you got Thanksgiving, and then right after that, the practices are underway, and the season starts in a couple of weeks. So we've set up a 16-team tournament that's going to take place over 2 days at Alvern High School in Hudson. And proceeds from this charity event are going to go towards New Horizons for New Hampshire. Charlie Sherman, who used to work here at this radio station and hosted the WGIR AM 610 and the News Radio 96.7 morning show, he's now the executive director at New Horizons, and we've been working very closely with him on this. And this is a unique tournament because of the matchups in this tournament. Yeah,
we took the idea is basically where it came from, and Kevin Bonney had the kind of the brainchild of this whole thing, but we really ran with it over the summer in meetings we've had, and we've worked really hard on. Years ago, the biggest game in New Hampshire high school basketball was Bishop Girton against Milford. It was a preseason game between the two eventual champions of Division I, Division II that nobody saw, or like 10 people saw. And it became sort of like that dream team scrimmage where, people argued, did Jordan's team win or did Magic's team win? And I heard people from Milford tell me they won by 10. I had BG people roll their eyes and go, no, we beat them. So what my idea was, if you got a matchup like Trinity and Pembroke, and you had the two defending champions on one floor for the only time they're going to be there all season long, how fantastic would that be? And we've grown it out to 8 games over 2 nights, three on Friday night at Alvern High School, and then 5 starting at noon on Saturday with Newport, Division III Newport, taking on Alvern.
So that's Friday, December 6th, and Saturday, December 7th.
December 7th.
It's 2 weeks from today, basically.
Yeah.
and yesterday.
Yeah, and we're going to be doing a ton of promotion for this. I've got a poster here that John will have on video. Each high school is going to have 3 posters of their game, the time. It's $5 admission. Again, proceeds go to New Horizons charity, and that's an all-day pass. So if you're a junkie like TNF and all the guys on the forum, they're going to be there all day. I'm going to have to deal with TNF all
So $5
day.
and you can see 5 games.
5 games, or you can say 3 games Friday night. But yeah.
Yeah.
And we're going to be talking about it a lot. We're going to have coaches in studio. Charlie's going to come in studio with us. I'm going to be all over the place promoting this on New Hampshire Sports Page and on the radio. But we're really, really, really excited about
All
this.
right, quickly, in under 30 seconds, just give the matchups.
Oh, boy, off the top of my head.
Yeah.
Starts with Merrimack versus Pelham is the first game on Friday. Second game will be Bishop Brady against Bishop Girton. Last matchup will be Merrimack versus Pelham.
Well, you said that was the first game, so it's Salem-Wyndham.
Oh,
in the first game.
Salem-Wyndham. I'm sorry.
Natural rivalry right there.
Yeah.
I mean, the
Pelham's going to beat them. I'm going to call that.
You think so?
I think so. They're going to be very good.
And then that Bishop Girton, Bishop Brady, you got the Bell brothers, Jordan and
Jordan Bell, yeah.
and what's Joe Bell? Is the
Joe
other
Bell
one?
and Jordan Bell, and then and BG is going to be a top 5 probably preseason team of Division One. And then on Saturday, it's Newport takes on Alvern. The second game is Lebanon versus
Andrew Hood, one of the best players in the entire state.
Absolutely.
For Newport.
I told Seth Guerin the other day, I'm like, I don't think you understand who you're going to be facing, because the Alvern coach. And I said, this kid's for real. Spencer Coronis, a very good guard for Newport. Second game is going to be Spalding against Lebanon. Those are two Final Four teams from last year in Division One and Division Two. Third game is going to be a lot of fun. Fitzy, Mike Fitzpatrick against Jim Mulvey. We got Portsmouth against Bedford, which is going to be a lot of fun. The fourth game is at 4:30. It's the poster I got right here. Manchester Central against Conant.
That's awesome.
It's going to be awesome. That's going to be awesome. Division Three's, dynasty team against Manchester Central has 2 Florida kids, John Martin, and then I can't remember what the brother's name is. They got 2 starters who came in from Florida, magically appeared. Doc Wheeler is such a good guy. I guess it's karma, but Central is going to be loaded this year. And then, of course, last game of the night, 6 o'clock. We think we may sell out these last 2 games, honestly. Trinity, Pembroke,
That's
the
going to be
2
awesome.
champions
Pat
on the floor.
Welch going against that Trinity team.
And one last thing, these are regulation games, 32 minutes, halftime. These, the officials and the whole bit. I mean, they're not going to be able to wear their game jerseys. The NHI day of AA wouldn't allow that. But they're going to be, these are full games, are officiated. We're going to have Charlie Sherman, Pete Terrier, and Justin McIsaac doing either play-by-play or doing the announcing during the game. We'll have music playing and announcements and all this stuff. And we're giving away money, a cash prize to the crowd that has the best crowd of any of the schools. We're going to give money to their booster club. So it's going to be a lot of fun. If you go to any of these schools, it's going to be a great event. It's going to be a lot of fun on that Saturday.
Very much looking forward to it. We'll put football to bed and jump right into basketball with the Coaches for a Cause basketball jamboree going on December 6th, Friday, Saturday, December 7th, Alvern High School. You want more information, check out nhsportspage.com, and you can find the link on the website. All right, quick timeout. Come back, hopefully, with Chuck Lenahan from the land of Lenahan on Championship Saturday. It is the New Hampshire High School Football Show, News Radio 610 and 96.7.
You found the best place for local high school football talk. It's a New Hampshire High School Football Show on News Radio 610 and 96.7.
Well, there would be no New Hampshire high school football shows on the radio. There would be no websites like nhsportspage.com if it wasn't for guys like our next guest. And we're talking about Chuck Lenahan, the longtime coach and the athletic director of the Plymouth Regional High School in Plymouth, New Hampshire. He joins us on the phone on the morning of his final game of his illustrious career. Good morning, Coach. How are you this fine day?
All right, good morning. Good. Great. Beautiful day.
I know that you're going to tell us that this game is no different than any of the other games you've coached in your entire 43-year career, but having said all that throughout the week and trying to keep your players under control, was it really different today than when you woke up knowing that, hey, this is the last time you're going to do this today?
Yeah, I think it was, to tell you the truth, until I got here, and then I had to go outside and start setting a few things up, and it was so cold that I'm saying, well, good. About time.
Coach Lenahan, I got a question for you. You ever heard of a college basketball coach named Gene Bartow?
Dean Bartow.
UAB, right?
I'll tell you who he is. He's the guy that followed John Wooden at UCLA. So the reason I ask you that is, who's following you at Plymouth next year?
I don't know, and we'll deal with that later.
So today, obviously, you're playing the only team that beat you during the season. I'm guessing you were able to watch the film of the Portsmouth Trinity game last week. But what kind of unique, what does Portsmouth bring offensively? Spreading you guys out, the athletes they have. What are your thoughts on the Clippers?
Well, they wouldn't be in a championship game. They weren't one heck of a good team, and it's a lot of preparation, different from other games. They have no huddle, and they're out there, and they got you spread out, and the quarterback can run it, throw it, a 250-pound fullback, and great athletes that can catch it. So, they sort of bring a little bit to the table, all right.
Coach Chuck Lenahan is our guest. His team, Plymouth, taking on Portsmouth this afternoon, Division II state championship game. Coach, we talked about this on the phone a little bit yesterday, but there was a situation in that game. You guys had a chance to close them out near midfield, final minute of the game. You had a 3rd-and-1 play, didn't get it done, and then you went for it on 4th down, and they stopped you again. And then next play, the first play they had after that, when the turnover on downs occurred, they beat you over the top for a long touchdown pass. When you look back on those situations where you had those 3rd and short, 4th and short, is there anything that you would have liked to have seen gone different for you? I mean, obviously you want the first down, but did you kind of second guess yourself what play calls you made in those situations?
Of course you do. That's what's just great about this game. I win over 350 games or whatever it is, and I can't remember any of them. But the 70 I lost, good God, that's all I can remember.
I want to ask you about that because your record is 355, 70, and 1. What the heck was that one tie? Do you remember when that was?
You should have gone for it in that game.
Yeah, 1971, we tied Hanover right here, 6-6. What a game!
Are you still lamenting that one? Like, man, if we only did that.
Well, the playoff system and the true state championship systems, as we know it today, really did not start until 1972. So in 1971, I don't know, you just had the 3 divisions, and whoever had the best record, you said, well, I guess they win it. So it was a little different. And then we finally put a playoff system in and a true championship system with the overtimes and all that. No overtime in 71. We only played 7-game schedule, so I had a lot of changes to do from 71 to 72, believe me.
So, Coach, I know you're disciplined enough to kind of tune everything out until it's over. I know there's going to be, I was saying off the air, Kevin Gray has been a longtime friend of mine. I'm hoping I'm going to be doing the game on the radio. I hope to see him and get him on the air. There's going to be a ton of your former players there today out to honor you and see you and root on the team and so forth. How have you insulated the kids from that and just, focus on Portsmouth? Don't worry about who's watching you and, all these different 45, 50-year-old men with Plymouth varsity jackets on standing around the field. I mean, how have you kind of insulated the kids coming into today?
Well, we were lucky because the last regular season game, we had a lot of that. And, the kids handled it great. And so we almost got that out of the way. And once the playoffs began, we try to put a completely different focus on things, and I think we do a pretty good job. You win or you go home, and we had Merrimack Valley there the last game, and then we started our playoffs with Kennett, and we had to go to Sanborn coming in, so they know it's a different focus in the playoffs, and they done a good job with that and handling it, and it truly is about the seniors in this team, and that's the way it is. And I'm not going up myself. I got 2 or 3 other coaches that's there last year and everything, but that's our choice. That's our problem. But the kids, seniors, this is their last year, and that's what it's about.
Coach, I want to ask about one player in particular. You talk to other coaches in the division like I talked to you in the preseason and so forth, and the name that keeps coming up all the time is Kyle Riesert. And I've had 2 coaches particularly I think it was Steve Burns at Trinity and Brian Pafford at Portsmouth both say that kid is the best football player in our division. And what can you tell us about him? And is he one of these players that will go down as one of the best in the history of the program?
Well, he's a good one, Kyle Ride's a great wingback, and he's D-end, and, he's just a good kid, great kid, and outstanding football player. But, a good thing he has a great bunch with him, and Jared Keel and Colin Sullivan, John Thomas, and these kids, they just blend right in. It's not about him. It's about the team, and that's the way he is, and it's great to have a kid like that.
Well, Coach, we know you got a big day today, so we really want to just let you know that we appreciate you spending a little time with us on the radio. And honestly, throughout the course of the years, I mean, I've been doing this for a while, and I've talked to you many, many times over the years, and you've always been great, and it's been fun watching your program. I think you guys are a machine up there. I've got a vote in that Union Leader, WGIR, WMUR power poll, and somehow the other voters that vote have you guys at 9th in the state. I mean, I've got you, I think, at 6th behind Portsmouth at number 5, and the only reason that I have you, and I think you're going to win the game today, and I think you're the better team than Portsmouth, but I had to vote you guys behind them because they beat you head-to-head at your place. I mean, what else can you say?
That's right.
But I don't understand why people don't give Plymouth football the respect that they deserve, because you guys are certainly a top 5 team in the state of New Hampshire. You certainly are. So I'll leave you with that. Best of luck today. Enjoy it, all right? Soak that moment in, because, come tomorrow morning, you're going to be like, wow, did that last 43 years really just happen? You're a great one, Coach, and you're going to go down in history, and we thank you so much for everything you've done.
I appreciate that very much. Appreciate you having me on the show, and hopefully we can show up and do a pretty good job today.
All right, Coach Lenahan, thanks so much. Good luck.
Thank you very much.
A class act for sure.
Oh, yeah, he's the best.
And he actually gave us a little bit more than he usually does. I think he's feeling it right now.
He's the Lombardi. Well, he said in the when they beat Trinity, he kind of opened up, and John's mic wasn't working for once, and it kind of missed some of it, but we had technical difficulties. But he sort of admitted that he didn't have second thoughts, but he was feeling it a little bit in his last year, and it's tough to walk away, especially when you're that good and that program's that so good.
Why do you think that, like I mentioned about the other voters, and why do you think that they don't see Plymouth the way I do?
I can tell you exactly why. Because I talked to I'm gonna move it back to basketball again, but
that's okay.
But it applies. I talked to coaches all over the state, as you know, all the way from Pinkerton down to Colebrook, and D1 basketball coaches this jamboree has opened up. Seth Guerin, in all respect, knows nothing about Newport. He has no clue who Andrew Hood is. And other coaches have no idea who these Division II teams have. And some of them do, but most of them have no clue who they have, because when you're in Division I, it's so all those coaches know is each other. And listen, it's so tough in those divisions. Every game, we see it every year in the Division I playoffs in basketball. The 3 seed and the 14 seed is a 2-point game. But they don't pay attention to anyone below them. And it's not disrespectful. It's just they're just so focused on their own division. And I think the same thing happens in football. They don't look down at those divisions. They don't pay that much attention.
And I also think there's a little bit of animosity and people saying, why don't they move up? Why don't they petition up to play better competition year in and year out? They're sitting down there in their comfort zone in Division 4 and Division 3 now, or Division 2.
They're playing teams their size.
That's exactly what they're doing. But I think that there's a lot of haters out there that say, hey, same thing towards BG. Why don't they move up? Well, they were forced to this year and compete against the real big boys. But I just think he's got a great thing going.
Oh,
whoever has those, that you mentioned Bartow. All right, and I believe he was a UAB basketball coach.
No, he was after UCLA
and had a pretty good career. They wonder who is going to be Gene Bartow.
That's what I mean. It's like no one remembers the next guy. It's always the guy after the second guy. But no, he is the John Wooden, the Vince Lombardi, whatever you want to say, of New Hampshire high school football. He is a legend.
I saw
he and Bill Ball are the two guys and Brian O'Reilly's right there too. But those are the guys that I think of and say that those guys are legends.
Those are the next guys that are going to be
I mean,
anointed.
They're right there.
And then we'll have these big days when they finally decide to go away. All right, we'll take a timeout, come back, wrap up the program. We head towards the top of the hour, 9 o'clock. It is Championship Saturday on the New Hampshire High School Football Show. News Radio 610 and 96.
Coverage of New Hampshire high school football on the New Hampshire High School Football Show on News Radio 610 and 96.7.
In addition to the two fine radio stations that you hear this program on each and every Saturday morning during the New Hampshire high school football season, and we will do a wrap-up show next weekend, we're going to kind of fake it, I guess you could say. Not really fake it, but we're going to pre-record the thing because
I'm going to be completely sincere.
Yeah, we're not going to be in here live next weekend, Thanksgiving weekend.
So, can I tell you my idea I want to do for next week on the website?
What do you got?
Because you're involved
Well,
in this.
let me finish what I was saying. We also put this on the website, nhsportspage.com, the video cast of the radio show, which is pretty cool. You can watch it and stuff like that.
We're all over the place now. We're doing previews.
You got a multi-platform is what you got to do.
We're taking over the world.
That's
Seriously.
Right.
Get in on our stock when we go live. You want to buy stock. Next week, I'm going to reach out to some reporters around the state that I know and respect and get in each division, their top 5 candidates for Player of the Year and then who their pick is and kind of put that together so people, it's sort of like individual. So I'll ask you for your top 5 players in each division.
It's going to be hard. That's going to be hard to
start
make a
doing
pick.
It now. I know. I'm just saying.
It's going to be really hard to
I was
pick.
going to reach out to Ryan O'Leary. I wanted to reach out to. I want Joe Marshallina.
So Ryan will say Jay
Nzenga. Jay Nzenga, Ryan Kelly.
Coach of the Year, Bill Ball.
Tim O'Sullivan I'll try to reach out to. So, but anyway, I thought it would be fun to Roger. Probably Jeremy Levier. Believe it or not. I will reach out to Jeremy, and I'll probably get everyone's opinion on their top 5, and I thought it'd be a cool way to see people's opinions.
Yeah, I think that'd be cool, and it'd just be interesting how different people, their different perspectives. So
yeah,
that'll be fun to watch and fun to look at. Very much looking forward to it. So I'm going to be at the Concord Pinkerton game today.
If this is a blowout today, I'm going to be really disappointed.
I like Concord in the game.
I picked Pinkerton.
I would be not surprised whatsoever if Pinkerton won the game.
Let's put it out there right now. And this is the way it should be. There's no surprises today. If Stevens beats Bow, I'm not shocked. If Portsmouth beats Plymouth, I'm not shocked.
I will be shocked if Portsmouth beats Plymouth
really?
today. Yes. Not because I don't think Portsmouth is a good team. I think they are. But I just see everything about Plymouth and Lenahan today.
Shocked?
I would be shocked.
They beat them earlier in the year.
Imagine this, okay?
At Plymouth.
You're Chuck Lenahan. You're coaching your last game, and in that post-game press conference, not that they do a post-game press conference, but the post-game frenzy, they lose the game. In his last game, he loses.
Well,
he might decide to come back for another year.
It's not a movie, I mean, Renee Zellweger and Tom Cruise don't fall in love at the end. I mean, something's gonna happen.
I will be shocked if Portsmouth wins, and that's nothing.
Shocked
against
it's
Portsmouth.
A very strong word.
I'm telling you. I'm just telling you my honest feeling.
No,
I know all the Portsmouth people.
I respect
the 96.7 people are gonna hate me for that.
No, they're not. I just think shocked is a strong word.
I would be. I think they can beat them, but I would be shocked if they beat them.
Okay. All right. Well, I won't be shocked at anything that happens today, unless there's blowouts. I think all 3 games are going to be close, and I'm very excited for it, and I think it's going to be – I think it's tremendous. This is the way it should be, and 3 champions feels better than 6. I'm just going to say
I agree. I mean, having a talk and break down 6 different games today, I mean, we haven't given a whole lot on that Division III game because neither one of us are real Division III experts. We know that we got 2 pretty good teams squaring off. We know that Bo is probably the favorite going in.
Donald Pellin, Ryan Tangway, very, very good players for Stevens. And Matt Enrenberg has been tremendous for Bo. And they are just technically sound, and they just play very, very smart football. Bo has been a nice story this year, and they have earned it. They played a very tough schedule. They've beaten some very good teams. So I look forward to seeing how that one turns out today. Those Stevens people are some of the nicest people, and some, Paul Silva and his whole, they're tremendous. So best of luck to everybody out there today.
It's going to be a lot of fun. So you guys will have video highlights on nhsportspage.com, Plymouth, Portsmouth. We will have highlights as well on nhsportspage.com for Pinkerton and Concord today. Should be fun. Good luck to all the teams. Congratulations to Coach Lenahan. Thanks for joining us. Have a good weekend, everybody, and a happy Thanksgiving.
That's right.